How Long Gone, recording in progress. It's Chris Black looking at the beautiful Hollywood Hills. Them jeans, what's really good?
My dog Bean is just having like a hyperventilation cough in the background. But it is a beautiful day. I just went for a nice 5-miler through the neighborhood, got my steps in.
I like that.
Got my coffee, got my glass of milk.
I'm thinking about you because of this Gene Hackman death.
Asian wife, dog. Yeah,
Exactly. Honestly, exactly. And they found his ass dead, and they're like, "Oh, it's natural." I'm like, "It ain't natural if everybody dies. That ain't natural."
That ain't natural. So, obviously, R.I.P. to Hackman, one of the gods. But no foul play when the whole house dies, including the animal.
yeah.
Somebody like if it was a murder suicide, which I don't know if it is or not, but. Somebody's like, all right, before I shoot myself or poison myself or whatever, I have to murk my dog.
I think
that's unless the dog did it.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past those little creatures, like they're evil, but I do think I think this is a classic carbon monoxide poisoning, a
CO2
tale as old as time. Yeah, exactly. I think that's the only thing that it could be. To kill everyone. I don't think Hackman at 95, his frail ass, ain't pulling out the bow and arrow to take care of his wife and dog.
Okay, do you think the CO2 carbon monoxide death accidental or intentional?
That, Jason, I'm going to let go and let God. I don't know. I can't be sure. I hope intentional, just because it's more fun that way.
It is.
Accidental is just like you're too old and you left the Chrysler 300 running with the garage door closed.
Yeah, I was baking some tofu and I forgot to turn the oven off. And the ventilation in these old Adobe shacks ain't what they used to be or something.
I'm going to assume actor Gene Hackman's house in Santa Fe, New Mexico was a little more advanced than an Adobe shack, but I don't know if that's true.
No. They have nice, very high level Adobe shacks there.
Yeah, for sure.
You know this. I don't need to tell you.
But maybe I guess like I would hope an updated one means that you don't die if you leave the oven on. But I guess that's kind of that's up to
Gene doesn't like to pass inspection. He's not into that kind of shit.
He's driving a brand new car. He gets a new car every year, so he doesn't have to get it tested for smog.
One thing I don't do. I'm too old to test. And RIP to Michelle Trachtenberg, another actor taken from us too soon. Well, this one too soon. Gene
did it. Yeah, Michelle Trachtenberg. I most famously remember her as Pete Wentz from Fall Out Boy's girlfriend for a little while during a peak era of Pete Wentz owning a bar in the East Village called Angels and Kings. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
I don't.
Check on your Fallout Boys today.
Check on your Fallout Boys today. But
I forgot about Angels and Demons.
Angels and Kings. Don't.
Angels and Kings.
Don't step.
What exactly happened at Angels and Kings again? I'm trying to remember. Was it like Dave and Buster's for pimps? Is that kind of the?
No. It was like it was literally like a regular bar owned by emo luminaries in the East Village that probably made money for a couple years during the heyday. It didn't even look stupid. It was just like a bar. The name is stupid, but it was just a regular place.
Benji Madden DJ set every once in a while. Keep the lights on.
You could definitely catch a member of All American Rejects with a model in the corner. You got a member of kind of
bottle of Cazadores over at the double AR table 43.
This was. Oh God! We the Kings just walked in. They need their Don Julio ASAP.
We got a code red. It was not a routine. We have a code red. Okay, well, but yeah, back to Trachtenberg. Really sad. I think she had a liver transplant that didn't go so well.
Yeah, it's sad. Yeah, because you see somebody 39, you just assume I always just assume it's drugs. Like,
yeah, of course.
Which is bad of me. But
especially
yeah, I guess
child actor.
Yeah, exactly. Hers sounded like a real medical issue, which is tough.
Yeah. Check on all of your millennial shorties out there.
Yeah, a lot of people. I wasn't as familiar with her catalog until I opened up Instagram, and every woman is posting about movies that I've never seen before.
Yeah, I think you and I were a little too. I mean, even though she was practically 40, but
we're a little too old.
We weren't watching like Spy Kids on Disney Channel or some shit like that. I don't know what she was on. I know she was on Eurotrip.
No, she was. I think I think that was the big show. I think that was the big show.
I didn't watch it, and I don't think you did either.
I didn't watch it, and I think if we did watch it, it would be weird, is what I will say about that.
That's why we didn't watch it.
That's what I will say.
I know some of y'all were watching it, though. Some of y'all, quote unquote, straight people I know.
There's some damn straight fellas listening to this podcast. I love Spy Kids. Yeah. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I know what that means.
I'm talking to you.
I'm talking to you.
Talking to you. A friend of the show, Gavin Newsom, is starting a podcast of his own. Great timing. Strike while the iron is freezing cold, I guess. I feel like the crucial thing you have to remember when you're starting a podcast is people have to like you. Anybody has to like you, and I don't think
that's a good point. I mean,
I think on the left or the right, everyone is not feeling Gavin Newsom's.
I'm pulling out my magnifying glass and looking at the timing a little more closely. Alex Earl leaves the Unwell Network. There's a space there. There is a space there, and there's budget is opened up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Gavin Newsom could be the perfect foil
to
Alex Cooper.
Name a more unwell person.
That's what I'm saying. This guy couldn't be more unwell.
He's got time on his hands, too, running the state.
Yeah.
When I saw his video, I was like, oh, I swear to God, this is not a joke. I didn't read like the caption or anything. And it said, he's starting a new podcast. I thought it was Bill Simmons.
Yeah.
And I realized that Gavin and Bill Simmons,
they have a similar.
It's like a Queer Eye before and after.
Yeah. No, I
Bill Simmons, he walks his Viore unshaven self. He's not, he's got some slides on or something like that. Gavin, he's got a haircut. He's got a shave. He's got some Italian loafers or whatever. They're both the same person. One of them is going to have a good podcast that makes millions of dollars, and another one is going to have a podcast that costs taxpayers millions of dollars.
Let's not say good podcast. I think profitable. Mm-hmm. Profitable is the correct term.
If you want to hear two 60-year-old millionaires argue about like fourth string, eighth round draft picks out of Tulane.
Look, the Clippers really, they fucked up this year. I think that they could have gotten somebody,
I don't know.
Yeah, it really is.
I like the Jazz. I like the Jazz this year. I don't know what to tell you.
It really is crazy that there's so many adult men that bury their head in the sand of minutia of sports. Like the real granular stuff that you should not care about. But it's because of gambling.
I don't know. I think you nailed it with the burying their head. Us males, we're all running from something. We're all trying to hide from something. Yeah, even you, brother. Even you. And some of us use sports and extreme details and statistics and minutia. Some of us use drugs.
Let me tell you this, Jason.
If
I start talking to you about the trades in the women's field hockey space, then you need a 5150.
That is sports betting. Yeah, actually, I saw somebody's tweet. I forgot who it was. It wasn't a big viral one, but they were reminiscing the time when 80s, 90s, and earlier when the worst thing that could happen to young people in terms of propaganda being fed to them for harmful activities or behaviors, like how cool smoking ads were. Yeah. And it was just like, oh, it's a bummer. Like some kids are going to start smoking versus now it's just an onslaught of every tunnel and funnel of information is forcing young males into sports betting and sports gambling on their phone, doing detrimental damage to their life more so than smoking a cig, looking cool, getting your dick sucked.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't understand the trend. I mean, I understand the desire to get money for doing nothing. Of course, that is a growl that I'll get in my tummy occasionally. But I don't think that
you'll creatively direct some of your energy in that direction, won't you?
Yes, I will. Exactly. But I don't think that. I just don't.
This convo right now is actually a billable hour. I think
this is 100% billable. This is 100% billable. Yeah, I'm going to stay away from sports gambling unless it's Prize Picks or DraftKings, of course.
Mm-hmm. Or unless you're working with some of our fine friends who run a book themselves, a good, strong, honest book full of integrity.
Exactly. If you're going to risk your well-being being on the whim of how athletes perform. Do it in a real way. Do it with a human being. None of this AI crap. None of this online crap. Call up your guy on the payphone.
Yeah.
Hear the line. Give him your bets. He'll write it down in his little notebook.
We want to support small business. We want to have our human brothers and sisters.
Exactly.
And non-binary bookies. The non-binary booking space is huge. It's emerging.
Exploding.
Those people are going to be there for the ups and the downs. The algorithm, the AI, the systems. Right. Unless, of course, they're an advertiser with Hell on Gone, then those guys, they do have a heart inside of their whole.
They'll thrive.
Like we have a friend who runs a book, and he'll be like, yeah, he'll tell people like, you're done. You're I got to put you on ice. You're taking too many L's.
Yeah.
From a human to human, I don't want to take your last $8,000 or whatever it is. Like,
exactly.
Just go take a walk. We'll figure it out, after the holidays or whatever, versus, another guy who's like, oh, I lost my last 500, time to shoot myself on the balcony of my Vegas hotel or whatever,
Yeah, another death at the Wynn. We gotta watch that.
I need a Max Wynn hotel.
we gotta watch that. Oh shit. All right, well, it's great to be in LA, Jason. I'm gonna see you later tonight at some point. I'm gonna drop the car off later, so I'll keep you posted on that. But I'll see you later at Armand's event tonight. I think
there's an event at the kiosk, and then at the chateau.
There's multiple events.
There's also a Christoph Silver.
Christophel, yeah.
There's an activation for that. There's an ESOP activation. Shout out to ESOP. They sent me a new scent.
Yeah, I got that too.
There's 75 events tonight. What are we going to do? Are you moving back to LA? There's too much going on.
There's just too much going on. No, there's just too much going on. I'm just going to stick around.
The ESOP one has an Uber code. Like, this is huge.
We need to talk to that. We need to talk about that fucking nerd who emailed us saying that we're mispronouncing Aesop. And I understand that people say Aesop, but no one says Aesop. You know what I mean? It's not a real thing. We'll get into it. Our guest Haley Mlotek is here.
Mlotek.
Mlotek, is that you said? Like melodic, like the word melodic. Okay, got it. Well, we figured that out. She's got a new book. No Fault. It's out, right? It's in stores?
Yes, as of last week.
All right, she's got a book. She's from Toronto. I mean, we got a lot to talk about here.
Yeah, Chris is on this. You're rounding up the week of female authoresses who have penned books about how they hate their baby or love divorce. So it's just a real love fest going on over here. The vibes are pumping.
We're having fun at How Long Gone, just like we always do. All right, let's talk to Haley a little more about this. All right, we're great. So we're in LA. We're doing good. It's 80 degrees. It's sunny. It's kind of the best possible situation for late February.
Do I wear a shirt on this pod? Do I take it off?
This could go any which way. But are you in Toronto where God is still pissing down?
I am in Toronto right now. It's disgusting. I left Montreal a few weeks ago to go to New York. Even worse.
That's even worse.
The snow is literally up to my chin. I have a photo of me with the shovel beside it for posterity.
Holy shit! And you're 6'2". That's crazy.
I know,
that's
right?
Crazy.
I'm a very tall woman.
You are 6'2" for real?
No. I am normal size.
Okay.
Normal sized. Wow, we're gonna size shame on this pod. Jason's 6'9", so he's very sensitive to this kind of talk.
Oh, that's cool.
Cool.
I say normal size a lot because people always come up to me who are quote unquote short, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, you're so tall. I'm so short in comparison. Look at us next to each other." And I'll always say like, "No, you're not short. You're normal sized," and that's an effort to make them feel better. But Chris, could that be considered condescending?
No, I don't think. I mean,
or something bad.
I think at this point in the world, anything anyone says could be considered condescending if they choose to take it that way.
If you talk to a wounded person and there's an X in the word person.
Exactly. So you're saying you were in Montreal. The snow is up to your chin. Were you shoveling yourself, or were you paying someone to shovel?
Oh, I'm shoveling myself.
Do you like the back?
Okay, so you're
like
still divorced. Still divorced then.
I'm
divorced stuck.
Still divorced.
All right, got it.
Still single. Yeah, that's my soft launch.
Bills paid.
Yeah, it's athlete.
Driveway shoveled. Okay. This is your debutante ball.
Yes. So if anybody out there loves shoveling snow in Montreal, let me know.
I feel like there's a lot of people that do that for money, but they might not volunteer for free.
Right.
I don't understand. The snow there is so bad, and I don't, because my wife lived there for a while, so I've spent a lot of time there. And she has always told me a story when she first moved there once of, I think, walking outside in a situation like you're describing, and she just started crying. She was so overwhelmed by the amount of snow and how hard it was going to be to traverse that she just couldn't control herself. And I was like, no one should live there. That feels wrong.
Yeah, and that's a completely reasonable response. I had that exact feeling because I actually tried to leave Montreal the day of the second snowstorm we had. My flight didn't get canceled until after I arrived at the airport.
Love that.
But so picture me, yeah, so perfect. But snow up to my chin. I have to whip my suitcase over that snowbank to the cab driver. Just to like get it in the trunk.
Okay.
This is what I've been training for my whole life. All of those Pilates classes.
I was going to say it feels like a kettlebell style workout. I will say, kind of like a swing of sorts.
This has a border crossing kind of energy to it. I gotta say,
it's a Canadian podcast now.
You had a shaman,
except instead of your firstborn child who hopes to start a new life in a new country, it's an away suitcase filled with.
Is it?
Various toiletries.
Haley, is it in a way suitcase? You can be honest with us.
It's not. No, respectfully, no.
No respect here. We hate away. We shit on it all the time.
Yeah. This is a respect-free zone in terms of luggage. So you're fine.
We're a respect-free zone in terms of most everything.
I would say whipping a suitcase not super easy. That is impressive.
Yeah, it's not.
No, and then I had to do it when I came home.
Would you say you're an explosive chick? You explosive?
Explosive? No, I'm very Canadian. Very calm.
We mean explosive.
Now that we
mean physically explosive, like an athlete.
Absolutely not. Not even close. No.
Okay, you're not. Okay.
Now that I've learned that you're Canadian and you're also Jewish as well.
I am.
Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so you're a writer, Canadian, Jewish person, and all of those things combined has made your voice a very specific. I listened to almost your entire book, your audiobook, so your voice has been on my mind and in my mind. And I kept wondering, like, you have a very specific way of saying words that I haven't noticed anyone else. And it's kind of interesting. I guess Nomi Fry has a little bit of it, but like the letter D and G are sort of interchangeable. Your D's, T's, and G's can sort of freely flow and interchange. Are you noticing any of this at all in your brain?
Oh, yes, because I think sometimes people think it's an accent, but actually it's a lisp.
Yes, it is a lisp.
Yeah.
It's technically a lisp.
I have a hard time with certain words. And then also right now I have a very bad cold. So I sound like I've been chain smoking for the last 50 years, which is a pretty good sound for a divorcee, but that's how I would like to.
Well, yeah, one could argue that's the icing on the cake, the cherry on top. But you have, and it is giving away a little info in the book, but you have a way of speaking that lets me know that you were raised by a grandparent.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I would hope wherever my wonderful grandmother, Annette Ennis, is that she's taking credit for the way I speak.
God bless her.
Okay.
God bless her.
So her way of speaking was influential on.
Absolutely. And definitely like her style of conversation specifically. Yeah, her back and forth.
It's good. We need a good back and forth on a podcast.
Was she having friends over for salons, or was this you talking to her?
Both. She was like very sociable. She loved to play bridge. She loved to host dinner parties.
Oh, that's real. That's the best old lady game out.
For
is
real?
Bridge. I don't even know what it is. I don't know how it works.
Nobody knows.
But no one under 70 has ever played it.
No, I'm waiting. I'm biding my time until I'm the age when I can learn.
That's what you're kind of holding out for.
Yes, one day.
Yeah. Right now, your bridge you're going to be bridge soon.
So you're saying she was a social woman. She had a lot going on.
Very much. And she joined book clubs. She would go to lectures. She just loved to be out and about. Yeah.
That's so nice when older people are active and in the arts,
yes.
I would say.
Yes, I think so too.
Because That was not a part of my life growing up, unless you consider college football the arts. But I don't personally. I don't personally.
It's kind of a sort of theater. Maybe
it is a sort of theater. I think that's actually really accurate. It is a sort of theater.
It's a good escape. Well, we were just talking about this about college sports or any sports being an escape from, putting your head down and hiding from something. And it reminds me of a quote from your book. You've always preferred reading to real life. So reading is your sports betting.
That's exactly right. Yes.
Or, it was.
Yes. No, I think it still is.
Okay. She spent more money on bookshop.org than we have on DraftKings, Jason. That's no question.
Yes, 100%.
Well, I guess on that subject, I don't know if Chris is the same way, but I have never read a book more than once. And I have rarely watched a film more than once. Like once I finish it, I'm like,
Same.
That is all. Like,
oh yeah,
fully satiated. I'll rewatch movies on an airplane or if it comes on TV, whatever, it's fine. But the thought of picking up a book I've read already, when there's so many books, I could read a book a day for the rest of my life. I won't even scratch the single % of books I need to read. But you have said, once you're able to pick things up on the 30th read or watching a movie in the triple digits. So I wanted to know what's wrong with you.
I don't know. What's wrong with you guys? That horrified me. Honestly.
What's wrong with us? What is wrong with us?
I will listen to the same song 100 times over and over and feel really good about it.
Yes.
Books and movies, it's one and done. I think books, I'm now understanding as I work on my own that revisiting stuff like that you liked helps that. That's the only time I've ever thought about it. But as a recreational, like for enjoyment, that's crazy to me. Like Jason said, there's so much.
No, I think about that all the time. Every time I sit down to rewatch First Wives Club, I'm like, I should be watching something new on Criterion Channel or whatever. Like I should be expanding my mind. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I don't know. I think a lot of it is actually I'm kind of superstitious about what books or movies or music I should listen to. And I feel very like I need to be in the right mood for the right piece of art. And so something that I already know how it makes me feel is kind of a safer bet.
Okay. That's actually, that makes a lot of sense. So how much Taylor Swift do you listen to?
0, respectfully, to Taylor Swift fan.
Wow.
Good.
Hell, welcome home. Welcome home.
Not so intense. I mean, when it's on the radio.
Sure.
In like a cab.
Sure.
No, but I love to pick a song and just listen to it on repeat for a million years.
It has a meditative quality to it that I can't achieve that sort of zen through real meditation or like breathing exercises. So that's as close as I'm going to get.
Especially while writing.
But does it have lyrics when you're doing it while writing or no?
Sometimes. It depends.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, there was a part in your book where you're discussing like the getting ready music where, you're at your shitty apartment with all of your shitty friends and you're pre-gaming with the sparks or whatever it is, and you said,
Jason, in Canada they call it a pre-drink, just to make sure that we're all
when you're having a pre-drink with your associates, and you mentioned listening to, not being able to really hear the music of Animal Collective or Wolf Parade ever again because it sends you back. And I was like, damn,
seeing Wolf Parade in print is jarring.
And you know what? I will tell you guys, my editor actually took out that line in one draft and I put it back in. So I was like, no,
You're like, no, hell no.
I have debased myself by writing this down. We have to see it through.
Yeah.
Publication.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's smart.
Warts and all, you got to own it, and that's brave. But then you also said, and God forgive anyone in your path if an LCD sound system song comes on.
Yeah,
so
can't have it.
We can agree with we can agree with that.
I think we're of a similar age. Yeah, I think we're of a similar age. I don't. Wolf Parade is a very specific because they are Canadian too, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, that's like a very specific like post Arcade Fire. Somebody's gonna bang on a helmet with a drumstick type music, but it did have some good. They had some good songs. I can't front.
Some bangers.
Are you still in that realm of music, or is your 2025 listening habit a little different?
No, it's much different actually. Over the holidays, I asked all of my friends to send me the music that they liked best and made like this insane playlist out of it, which was so smart. I can't believe I've never done that before. But that's like the only way I find music. I need people to give me recommendations.
That's funny. That's funny that you. I know you're like a union person, so it's crazy you made your friends work for free. That's kind of fucked up, if you ask me.
Society, like they'll come back.
Okay, sure. So what did you do? Send them some book recommendations then? It's a fair trade?
Eventually, or if they ever need their makeup done, or if they need babysitting.
Eventually.
Okay, so this is like when you have like a 3-year-old child and they give you an IOU for one hug for Christmas kind of thing.
And everybody's very happy to get it.
Yeah.
But are your friends, because I feel like if I did that with my friends and threw a wide net, I would get back a lot of music that I really don't want to listen to based on how wide ranging the taste is, which is a compliment to me of the people that I've collected and their amazing tastes in all genres. Yeah. But I don't really want to listen to that.
And also
shit.
Chris especially is so judgmental if he gets, like these are the 100 best of the best. These songs define me. Chris might be like, we can't be friends anymore. Yeah, I thought you were a different person, but if we can't come back from this.
If the band Salt, like defines you as a person, like we can't ride like that anymore. But did you discover new music that you've continued to listen to?
Yeah, I would say so. But I just like threw it all together on a playlist and then press shuffle. So I couldn't even tell you what the names of the bands or songs that I like are. But definitely the one like real standout was Cindy Lee, Diamond Jubilee. Like I love that album, and that's been on repeat for like ever since I found it.
It's back on the charts. It's number 39 on the Billboard charts.
Is that because it went on streaming finally? Is that what happened?
Oh, hopefully, yeah.
I think it may have been like physical sales. I'm not sure. Actually.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Because they count for more. But like,
that's true.
Cindy's up there with the Post Malones and the Sabrina Carpenters is of the world, which is cool to see, especially a year after it came out.
Much like myself, you seem to love guitars, and I like that about you so far.
Interesting. I hadn't thought about it that way, but yeah, I guess I'm moved by the guitar.
Are you? Well, I mean, I am also moved by the guitar. Thank you for saying that. And sometimes a riff can bring me to tears. It really, it's that and the human voice, of course, are so powerful. Oh, don't talk about Stairway, Jason. We got 45 minutes left.
Well, I am often moved by a well-loaded dishwasher. Are you still loading that washer?
Oh, absolutely. Somebody just asked me about that at one of the book events. They were like, what do you mean? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, how are you confused? You know what I mean.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Well, what exactly did they ask you?
They were like, what's a well-loaded dishwasher? And I was like, have you ever played Tetris?
Yeah.
It's like that.
That's a question that has a very easy answer that I think makes the question bad, is my point.
Yes.
Well, but I think I've noticed that everyone has their own easy answer and their own definition of what a well-loaded dishwasher is. And some of it can be subjective and objective, No,
totally.
You could bring an engineer in and they can tell you why this is a perfectly loaded dishwasher, and their husband or wife will be like, yeah, but my way is better.
Well, I do think there's some room for debate there, but also isn't there a result that you want all of the dishes to be as clean as possible, so if it's right only when it's done?
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Like a loaf of sourdough.
Yes. Just like sourdough, but you want like the most dishes clean in the dishwasher as well.
How many pieces can I put inside before it will lower the overall cleanliness
I see.
of all the collective
I see.
dishes?
Because if you pack it too much,
at what point are you pushing it too far?
The water and soap ain't going to touch everybody.
Exactly.
You guys are goddamn freaks. But I also kind of get the satisfaction. I don't do that because I don't cook and I have no dishes, but I do. I see the joy in that. And I've actually seen Jason load a dishwasher, and it is poetic. It is watching from afar. If it was set to music, we could like sell that, I think, that video.
It's art.
Yeah. Enya would be playing, I think. But it is an art. But to me, much like why I like cooking so much, and I'm sure you have some of these habits as well, Haley, sometimes you just need to successfully complete something just to like get out of the rut that you're in. And that could be like I made a good sandwich or I did the dishes in a great way. I killed that load.
Absolutely.
Oh, that sounds great. I would love to be able to heal what ails me with some simple tasks.
Chris, we need to get you killing loads. It'll make you a better person.
Drugs, alcohol, or spending money on stuff I don't need. Those are the only three things that can fill that gaping hole. Mm-hmm. But that is a nice. I know what you mean though. Sometimes like that's why I like to run errands because it feels like you're doing. Yes. You're checking things off a list. Feels like you're doing something.
I agree.
What are you a big cook, Haley, as well?
Not so much. More now that I live in Montreal, I'll like spend more time trying out new recipes.
Oh, hold the fuck on. I didn't know you lived in Montreal.
I live in Montreal. Yeah, I'm just visiting Toronto right now.
This better be for a job.
Not anymore.
Oh, you were
it kind of was at first.
Because you worked at Essence.
I did. Yes, I was very lucky. I worked with Durga at Essence, which was amazing. And now the job that I have is fully remote. So I just stayed there.
Okay, so you're saying you could be anywhere, and you've chosen Quebec as the place for you to be.
That is right.
Okay, I will ask you, where are you going to move next?
I don't know. Any suggestions?
Well, there's only 3 cities in Canada. No offense to my Calgary brothers and sisters, but there's only 3 places to go.
Do you plan on staying in the 51st state of America for the rest of your life?
What's your passport looking like?
Wow, these are intense questions.
If you got an extra $5 million laying around, we can get you over here in America on the gold card.
Yeah, we can get you.
Okay.
Look,
that's a good deal.
You've been married before. It's easy to get married for a green card. That's the best way to do it, really. It has a purpose.
That's very true.
Yeah.
So
you're saying, I guess I'm just asking simply, do you have another citizenship somewhere we should know about that would allow you to move easily? Okay. That was what I was getting at.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Just a Canadian passport, which I'm very lucky to have.
That's right.
But yeah, Montreal, it does. Right now, it seems like the only city in Canada that I would like to live in. I love my friends in Toronto and my family, but Montreal is good for me.
Do you go out a lot? Because you don't seem like you do. Oh, you do?
No, I don't go out a lot. No.
Okay. Because Montreal, unless you're doing ketamine in a basement, I can't imagine living there. That's kind of what you need to get through the winter.
Yeah. But maybe once a year, like ketamine in a basement.
Okay, sure. Yeah. But in the summer, you're out with all the McGill students in the park drinking natural wine on a blanket, kind of soaking it up.
Yeah.
It is nice in the summer. I'll give them that.
Very nice. It's very affordable. It's very cute.
You're doing just fine. You got a book, you got a job. Let's not throw money. Let's not make it about money, okay? Let's not do that.
All right.
You're saving up to move to America one day. I get it.
I have this $5 million invoice.
Yeah,
that you guys just slapped me with.
We just hit you with the $5 million invoice. I mean, I think that it is interesting though to be like a little bit older and still be like, I could move wherever I want. Like the freedom of that is probably quite nice to know that you could go whenever you want.
Yes, absolutely. And I miss New York very much. I loved living there. But yeah, Montreal feels like the right place for right now.
Well, you're mature. I like that about you.
It's crazy.
It is crazy, but I appreciate that about you.
Yeah, it's wacky.
Yeah, you and Jock Green, the only 2 I know. And then during the winter, you can just chat online, right?
Yeah, basically. Just with all my friends on the internet.
Well, you mentioned in the book when you were a youngster, you spent some time having sleepless nights and doing cybersex on the computer. Mm-hmm. Same kind of vibe. I don't know if you're still doing that, but you can chat with friends at the very least.
Yeah, the chat rooms unfortunately have fallen by the wayside, but I guess that's what group chats.
Mm-hmm. It's very funny that the chat room stuff, I feel like it's coming up more now because people our age are talking about it because we experienced it. The first, you know what I mean? Like the first real wave of that, I feel like is our age group and the sexual awakening that could happen in an AOL chat room with definitely an old man on the other side, no matter who they were saying they were, is it the risk reward was just too titillating.
Yeah. Who knew?
Well, I think that it happens on Instagram now, though. There's like private chat groups that'll have hundreds of members, and everyone can sort of have an always-on chat room conversation that they can dive into.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't.
Yeah, I've been added to a few where it's just like, oh, there's like cool people in this group, and then you're like, oh, there's 900 people in this group, and they just.
The only group chat I've been added on to Instagram is the famous guys with my same name. It was all Chris Blacks. It was like 12 Chris Blacks in the group, and I didn't respond.
Wow.
And they were like, "Oh, the only Chris Black with the blue check thinks he's too good for the Chris Black group chat."
And was that true? Is that why you weren't responding? Yes.
Clearly.
No. It was because I'm not going to talk to people I don't know because we happen to have the same name. That isn't enough. That's not enough for me to strike up a
Especially
combo.
with, I mean, if you met a fellow Haley Mlotek, then you'd be like, "Holy fuck, we have to chat." But
yeah.
Chris Black, it's a pretty common name.
Yeah, it's not that crazy. And but when I saw that they were roasting me, I was like, damn, that's actually so funny. This whole thing is
so Chris Black of them to do that.
Yes. All Chris Black say the same.
I'm so glad I was grouped. I honestly didn't know that was. How many group chats are you in, Haley?
Oh my God, a lot. Actually, I should look.
But like, are they active?
Yeah. I have like my Toronto friends, my Montreal friends. There are like a million offshoots of the New York friends. I have one that's been going on since 2015 with my friends Anna and Darcy, and they always refer to it as our Obama era group chat.
When things were good.
Yes, right. Yeah.
You guys are still occupying Wall Street?
Yeah.
Yes.
But do you participate a lot? Because I feel like you have to concentrate, but you still find time to waste.
Yeah, no, I'm fucking around on my phone like 80% of the time. I would say I'm not very productive. Don't tell anybody I work with that.
80% is that's almost as good as me. Jason is not on his phone that much. It's actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, I don't know. I have fits of productivity, where I can like focus.
Yeah.
For a dedicated amount of time, and then I have
to binge writing. Yes. Are you a binge writer?
Sometimes, yeah. There's one section of the book that's about 9,000 words that I did write in a day, just because of a question that my editor asked me.
Like it sparked something, and you were like, "Fuck it,
yeah.
I got this."
You did 9K in one day?
Yes, and then I probably did like over the next 6 months, like 55 words or something. Sure.
You
like
kind of got it all out of your system,
right.
And then you had to start over.
It's a boom and bust.
How many cups of Timmy's did you have to chug down to write 9,000 in one day?
Just endless doubles, I guess.
It's harder. It's harder to get Adderall in Canada too. So I know she's doing this natty.
It's true.
We don't know if she's doing it natty.
Yeah, we don't.
She said it's hard, but it ain't impossible.
What performance enhancing drugs you're using to complete a book? Don't say yerba mate.
No, like yoga, meditation.
Shut the fuck up! You don't lie to me. If you listen to Wolf Parade, you're snorting Adderall. Let me say that right now.
Oh my God!
I would say the meditation and the yoga, and that's when the ideas come to you, right?
Honestly, no.
And then you jot it down on your notepad.
No, it's really, but actually, it is true that I write when I'm walking. No,
well, fuck you, Haley.
Walking is when I write.
Okay,
that's like the best form of writing.
Walking.
You mean the ideation comes? You're not on your phone. Okay.
Well, sometimes I'll be on my notes app.
Jot down a note or two, of course.
Yes.
That's where the creation is created.
Yeah, it's like your lizard brain is busy, so your intelligent brain can, think thoughts.
For the amount that I exercise and free my brain, I should be a lot more productive. I should have a lot more to show for it.
Yeah, but instead of going for an ideation walk, Chris, you're listening to the Joe Budden podcast on a treadmill. So
that's true.
It's different. There's a wall that's set up.
That's true. I mean, do you walk in silence, Jason?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes no. Sometimes I'll listen to Haley's book, which is a good in between to do a little workout or a walk around when I'm listening to a memoir or an autobiography or something like that.
I just can't.
Or a little bit of lyricless music.
Yeah, I just can't listen. I don't know. I can't listen to audiobooks. It just makes me feel weird. I know it's a progressive. It just feels like one of the many kind of like symptoms of productivity culture, even though it's existed long before that. Like my dad would listen to books on tape when he was driving to like work, actual tape. You know what I mean? It's like I know it's been around forever, but it feels like it's exploded because it's like I can spend every waking minute taking something in that will better me. Is what it feels like to me.
And there's no commercials, there's no ads.
Because you don't listen to audiobooks.
I didn't for a long time, but then actually over the summer I had Bell's palsy and I couldn't read because I couldn't keep one of my eyes shut. which was crazy.
Whoa.
So that's when I got really into audiobooks. And it's just like,
hold on. You're burying the lead here. So you went Bieber mode and had the Bell's palsy. Like what?
Yes.
What causes that? Like what is the impetus?
For me, they said it was like a cluster of different illnesses all at once. Like I had a cold and then the flu and then I got an ear infection. And then one day I just like lay down for 20 minutes because I felt sick. And when I got up, I couldn't move half my face. Like it was psycho.
Was it the left or the right that went down?
It was the right.
Is that your good side or your bad side? You can be honest with us.
I think that's my bad side. Actually, I don't know because in the mirror it would be the reverse.
Yeah, good point. Shit, that is a trick. That's tricky. That is tricky. That's
how
tricky.
How long?
Yeah, how long
did the palsy last for?
It was 5 weeks, and I do like that was also so I was listening to audiobooks. I was going to acupuncture for the first time ever.
Amazing.
Just like really relaxing because it can last for a long time. Like they did warn me that it could take 2 to 3 months.
But is there any sort of are they just like you need to chill out and take care of yourself and is that the only kind of cure? There's no like nothing else you can do, right?
No, they gave me like some steroids and things like that, but I don't think it actually helped. But it was hard not to see the like metaphor in that because that was like right when my day job was really intense. I was finishing copy edits on the book. I was doing the fact check. I was traveling a lot. I was just trying to do everything. And half my body was like, okay, you can keep going, but we're staying here.
Been there.
That is...
And so I had to listen. So then I just lay down and listened to audiobooks for 5 weeks.
Can that happen to anyone, I guess? Or does it affect a certain age group or something more?
I did do a lot of reading on this when I was able to read again.
A lot of listening.
For women, it's more common around pregnancies, actually, which I never heard before, but apparently that's the thing. But no, it can be any age, any time. And luckily, once you've had it, it's statistically very unlikely that you'll ever have it again.
Oh, so it's like, okay, so it's chicken pox. Like you get it once.
Exactly. But yeah, not to make this a Bell's palsy podcast, but it was a very bizarre experience.
No, I don't think I've ever talked to anyone that has had it before.
So you said that you were unable to close one of your eyes.
Yes.
So when it was time to sleep, would you wear an eye patch?
They gave me an eye patch and some eye tape, but I didn't like the way it felt.
Ooh.
So I was really just like...
You raw dogged it?
Yeah, I don't even know how I was sleeping. I was sleeping all the time. Yeah, like it didn't bother me when I was asleep. When I woke up, it felt terrible. I had to use eye drops all the time.
Oh yeah.
And then like eventually I got so bored. I had to watch something on TV. And so I just like hold it closed with one hand like this. So I could focus properly.
Watching Real Housewives of Potomac with one eye, that's
yes.
That's a sight to
Literally.
That's a sight to be seen.
Yes. And the whole time I was just like, as soon as this is done, I am never going to take my beautiful face for granted ever again.
That's okay.
And I never have.
It's a learning experience. It sounds like you got what you needed out of this detrimental ailment and you've become a better person. That's great.
Yeah, the body really does keep the score.
The body does keep the score. And the body said, we won this round.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, I mean, not speaking of that, but after writing this book, do you think that you've become an easier person to date?
Yeah.
Fuck no. You kidding me? If I'm
certainly worse.
Fuck no.
Certainly.
I mean, not so much in terms of like somebody is going to read your book and think, oh, I can't wait to date this person, but more so of like, we all have difficulties and awesome parts about us in the world of dating. But since you've got it all out of your system, you've examined yourself so much through the lens of other people separating and divorce through the years. Have you become a better, easier person? Or, you know what I mean? Like, are your experience points?
I mean, I hope I'm better. I do feel like you would have to ask my ex-boyfriends.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can answer on their behalf.
Well, you can text them now and just play the. Yeah,
okay,
it's
yeah.
fine.
Let me
just text all of them, and we'll kind of answer the question throughout.
Yeah, that'll be my new group chat.
I feel like
book 2.
I feel like a book like this could be intimidating for a potential suitor.
Some people have made jokes about it. Like some guys I've gone on dates with have been like, "Oh, if only there was a book about your previous relationships, that I could read." Oh, wait.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't think they're gonna get anything useful out of this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess some people would like it, I guess, because it's like, it's interesting. It is, you know what I mean? Like to unpack it all. Most people don't have the capability to do that,
I would like it if I could date somebody who had written a book about their lives, but I don't like the idea that somebody would read my book and be like, oh, now I've got her, now I get it.
The door swings one way.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. They think they got you figured out. They're like, oh, we're going to get in a fight? I know exactly what to fucking do here.
And whether they're right or wrong, it doesn't matter. I just don't like that they're preparing themselves that way.
But you chose to, I guess you chose to make it like a little bit more of a lesson or a look at divorce, since its inception, which I have never thought about once in my life, and I'm divorced. You know what I'm saying? Like I've never considered it, never thought about it. It's just something that we.
Yeah. Did you become a divorce enthusiast before your divorce because of what your mom did for a living? Like you always were, like some people are really, really into pickleball and some people are really into modern art, and you were just like, inject divorce into my veins.
Yeah, divorce was definitely my modern art in that sense. Just that it was so like present in my like everyday life growing up, and then it felt so present.
Some of your favorite divorce lawyers were kind of your masters. Let's
say exactly. Yeah, the artfulness,
the art of divorce, book 2.
They applied. It just felt like it was everywhere all the time, but it was somehow never actually the subject itself. Like it's kind of just a plot point or an anecdote. And so that was definitely something that I knew I wanted to do with the history parts of the book. Like really look at like, what is this? Where did it come from? What does it mean?
Okay. And then when you pitch this to your publisher, they're like, yes, the general public has an insatiable urge to learn about divorce so much. We gotta write this guy. They're frothing for divorce content.
I mean, basically, or at least I hope so.
That's exactly what they said.
Well, I mean, it did happen. You got the book.
Yeah, it's out.
You got the book deal and you wrote it. So enough people believe that there are. I mean, because I wonder, because Chris and I are kind of in the same boat where it has never even crossed our mind to wonder about the history of divorce. So the fact that there are potentially millions of people out there who are interested in reading more about divorce, it's just kind of like, to me, it almost feels just like just a word or an inanimate object or something. Like that's just a thing.
I want to know the male to female ratio of purchasing this book. That's what I want to know.
Me too, honestly.
I want to see some data is what I want to see.
I want the exit surveys.
Yeah.
Like as they're coming out of the bookstore.
So what'd you think?
I did have somebody DM me to say that she read the book and she gave it to her ex-husband to read. Which I was like, please report back on how that goes.
I would love to know about their relationship and how it kind of all, because that feels like a gift that is meant to give something other than pleasure, I would say.
Right? I mean, but who knows? Maybe they're good friends now.
True.
But your book isn't the book isn't all, a horror story of my divorce and what I went through.
No.
It's also, I guess another interesting thing about your book was it let me realize that a book can really be not just about one thing, but like, a little bit of it is your life, your parents, how you became who you are. Then there's chapters where it's just like, here's what happens in a movie. Just a play-by-play of what happened in Under the Tuscan Sun or Eat, Pray, Love. And it was kind of cool that a book could be anything, I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I hope that doesn't sound like that. But
no, not at all.
The more I'm sort of a new reader, so it's cool to see, books in my mind a few years ago were very like, this is about this is about this. And I feel like the lines of distinction have been blurred just over the last couple of years, as I'm forced to read all these books.
I'm so sorry, but I'm hoping you're having a good time because books are okay.
I am. Yeah.
Some of them, but yeah, I definitely like when I started it, I had this idea that it was going to be a very well-defined, well-contained, like perfectly structured. Here's the history, here's the culture, here's the memoir.
Okay,
and that just
nerd,
never,
go off.
Yeah, exactly. Like me, the project manager, and then me, the writer, had to be like, no, like that's not how it worse in anybody's mind, and that's definitely not how it's going to work on the page.
I'm glad you let yourself explore.
Thank you.
Now, not to bring up Real Housewives again, but it's something you came to later, and divorce is obviously a a character in that program more than others.
Yes.
And I feel like that was probably enlightening in some ways to see it shown that way.
Yes, absolutely. I'm only just watching Salt Lake City now, like recently. I just started it. And I feel like divorce there is extra fraught.
Well, when you combine divorce with Mormonism, it does get fraught.
Yes.
It does get fraught.
Yeah.
That's true.
But all the Real Housewives franchise they're all divorce literature to me.
Yeah. But it also feels, weirdly to me, it feels like almost more realistic than some portrayals of it, because like I know they're like quote unquote rich and quote unquote messy and all that shit, but I just feel like it's really like it feels more real to me than a lot of depictions that you could see on TV or a movie.
Yeah, I think so. I think just because, like, obviously there is that sense that being watched changes how people behave.
Yeah.
There's no question of that, but the element of never knowing what somebody's going to say, I think adds a feeling to watching what they do end up coming out with that makes it feel so much like more potent.
What about like the ultimatum and shit like that?
I do watch all of those
because I feel like it's your job. Like it's not my job, but I still find time, but it feels more like your job.
It's kind of my job. I can make it my job. Every time I watch like The Ultimatum or Love is Blind, I was just saying this, I feel like I'm contributing to something evil.
You are.
I shouldn't be doing it. It's like shopping on Amazon or something.
Well, slow down.
But I can't stop. I'm just like, I'm really so obsessed with, like, especially The Ultimatum and Love is Blind. I made this joke in the book that they treat getting married like it's some like extreme sport, which I think is extremely funny.
That's the thing about The Ultimatum is like,
I like that.
It's two 26-year-olds who are like dental hygienists that are like, if I don't get married right now, I am. It's like, dude, relax, man. You're all good. You're a consultant in Boulder. You're gonna find love. Yeah. It's not that serious.
No, it's very bizarre. And then Love is Blind too. I mean, I always joked that like their whole thing is asking, is love blind? But really the question is like, can we Stockholm syndrome all these people into doing the outcome that we expect them to? And the answer is always yes. Like
the answer is yes.
Yes, we can.
I'm just always I'm always struck by the age of these people. That's what strikes me the most is like, and they're not like, I'm from the South where like getting married young is very that's like commonplace. That's like you meet your college girlfriend or boyfriend, you get married, that's what you do. But these people are all pretty, I mean, they're not living in New York or LA, but it's pretty urbane. Yeah. It's pretty, you know what I mean? It's pretty like, they seem pretty normal, but they're obsessed with getting married in this way that I'm like, what's the big deal?
No, like, I mean, it's so cliched, but I just want to ask all of them if they're familiar with the concept of compulsory heterosexuality and if they'd like to talk to somebody about it. Because
wait, hold on. That sounds like a slur that you're throwing at me and Jason is what it sounds like. I don't like it one bit.
Compulsory heterosexuality?
Playing the field? What do you mean by that exactly? Just fucking and sucking?
Yeah, I don't know what it means.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
No. Like I think it's
you're like, yeah.
most commonly associated with second wave feminism. But it's just the idea that's like,
well, yeah, you think we know about that?
I don't know.
Yeah. Wrong.
I want to assume.
No,
I won't even look at the first wave.
Maybe you guys in your spare time.
Well, you notice that we don't have our pronouns in our Zoom.
Wait,
you know what I mean?
That's does that mean like I am so eager to prove that I'm not gay that I'm going to get married at 22? Is it a little bit of that?
Huh. That's a very interesting interpretation. I like that one. I think it's more that heterosexuality is so deeply ingrained.
That did not feel insultory.
It's like so deeply ingrained in us, like we're brought up believing it's the only option, that in order to explore different options, you have to unlearn this idea that being straight is the default.
Okay, so you're saying I'm only straight because that's what my parents told me, but I could be sucking dick if I would have been raised different.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
That honestly, it does make a lot of sense. I mean, it does make a lot of sense.
In so many words.
So you're saying bi lives matter. For listeners at home, she nodded her head yes instead of audibly saying the word yes because it is not a video podcast. Just wanted to check. But I mean, that does make sense. Do you think that nowadays, 2025, more people or less people are trying to fill a marriage-sized hole in their heart?
I don't know, because like the thing I write about in the book, and I talked about this a lot, is that with marriage and divorce, the only thing those numbers tell us is what the governments know about people's relationships.
Yeah.
And just like anecdotally and, you know, more in like direct social settings, we can see that people are still entering into relationships that are basically marriages, you know, like they live together, they own homes together, they have pets, they have children, and they might not be married, but to me, that's still very much a marriage. And if those relationships end, that breakup.
Yeah, you should tell women that, because they don't think that's a marriage.
I mean,
I don't care how much property we got. I don't care how much. They don't give a fuck.
Think
we got dogs.
I do think owning a home together is more intense than being married. But what do I know? I've never.
No, it's totally more. I completely agree. Agree. It totally is. That's what I mean. I think getting married is a great thing to do, and it's like a nice expression of love. But it like the legal part of it is like so nothing. Kind of. It's like not that. That part isn't that big of a deal.
I think it's become a lot more optional nowadays, especially as people like I don't want to take your name. I don't need to, like, I have my own thing worked out and I'm good if you're good, and you know, I don't need to do that. But I think that Instagram and just social media in general has also changed. You know, like everyone has like the grid worthy moments in their lives and the marriage photos, and then hopefully getting into a magazine or, you know, a Town and Country or a Vogue. Hopefully, you know, not Vogue in a small country, but a good Vogue will cover it. And then those are mile markers for your success in life, regardless of a government document or anything like that. So I think that, you know, it's not a marriage-sized hole in their heart. It's a wedding photo on Instagram that's better than your wedding-sized hole in your heart.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I love weddings. Like, I don't want people to stop getting married because I think weddings are so fun. But they shouldn't have to get married.
I agree. Actually, speaking of weddings, you talked lovingly about finally acquiring your dream wedding shoes and how you still wore them after your wedding, after your divorce, but I don't think you mentioned the brand and style exactly. Could you let us know what they are?
Yes, they were Acme, and they were black lace-up, like derby platforms with a kind of like mint green lining around the heel. This was when I was working at a boutique in Toronto called Jonathan and Olivia.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yep, you remember.
J&O. Spent a lot of time there.
Acne and Isabel Marant and all the girls that I worked with had these shoes.
What a time. What an Isabel Marant time, isn't it? It's crazy to me that men wear Isabel Marant logo mesh hats now. Like, it really blows my fucking mind.
2010 me would have never believed it.
No, that's what I mean. It's like, it really feels crazy. It like really feels crazy.
It sounds like a cool brand. Like if I was rapper Future and you're like, oh, these are Isabel Marant pants, you're like, sounds cool.
Well, the problem is most people's association, and Haley, yours is probably the same as mine, is that Isabel Marant was responsible for those terrible sneakers that haunted, that really, really kind of had a chokehold on women for like a 2-year period.
It's going to be hard to come back from those shoes.
It's hard to come back.
I will make a stunning confession here on this podcast, which is that I still have my pair of those shoes.
What color?
They're black.
So are you waiting for them to come back, or you just haven't gotten rid of them, or it's in the archive?
No, it's in the archive. I just feel like they're so humiliating that I have to retain them forever.
I like that. I like this. Also, I think it is really, really that particular pair of shoes really that and like a suede booty really encapsulate that time period more than any other. The
Dicker boot.
Yes.
I think holding on to bad shoes as a bit is cool. I like the idea of looking into your storage closet in 20 years and like you've gotten rid of your wedding shoes and your wedding dress, but you still have the Marants. You're like, these guys, too good.
The Marants. I like you call it like they're Jordans.
But I love embarrassing trends because I think it's very important that we be honest with ourselves about how and when we're duped.
I agree.
Do you participate in them though? Is the question.
Occasionally, yeah, not in a while. I think like it's hard when you don't have a staff discount to be so like free and loose.
Well, also as you get older, you know that maybe like the third wave low rise jeans aren't for you, you know, and you've kind of come to that, so you don't feel as tempted by them.
But I guess having the 50% off Essence sale at any given moment, you're going to be less judicious with your purchases. You're going to be, you're playing with funny money at that point. But I like the way that you just described it being duped, because that really is, it's like, it's a skill challenge you're walking through, and we're going to judge what you fall for fashion-wise.
Yes, absolutely. No, now I'm mostly like duped lovingly by the people that I actually know, who I trust with my whole heart. Like my co-editor at the magazine that I work at, Maria Dimitrova, she took me to Ted Mueling in New York. Have you ever been there?
Oh yeah, great store. Legend.
Yeah. It's like if Hannibal Lecter was editor at Vogue or something. I'm just
obsessed. It's a very crazy space. It's a very crazy space.
Okay.
It's so gorgeous. And so that's become my new thing, like angling for a pair of those earrings.
Okay. So that's much better and more timeless than the Isabel Marant sneakers or the suede booties.
But who knows? I could be wrong.
How much are these earrings going for in US dollars?
I can't talk about it.
A lot.
I
don't know. Actually,
humiliating.
I've never looked at the price. How much? Come on, tell it.
5,000.
I'm wearing an affordable pair. I'm wearing a $300 pair. That was a special occasion.
Okay.
Going back to frequently rewatching or rereading things. What is your number one movie and TV show that you have rewatched to filth?
Probably for TV shows, The Sopranos and Friday Night Lights.
Okay.
Would you guesstimate how many rewatches?
A lot, but like obviously Sex and the City, it's probably like double digits rewatch, but that's more
obviously.
It goes without saying. That's like in the background.
What about like a Gilmore Girls or Grey's Anatomy?
Ooh, I have done rewatches of Gilmore Girls, Grey's Anatomy, but not in a long time. That feels also like listening to Wolf Parade. It would take me back too far.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, those are the Wolf
on the book you mentioned perhaps going triple digits on a Nora Ephron film, the way she describes, I think you mentioned you like the way she describes a separation, and you can only really experience the weight of those words on a triple digit level rewatch. So what are we hitting trips on?
For Nora Ephron, it's probably You've Got Mail, because like if I've watched that, like 2 or 3 times a year since it came out when I was like 12 years old.
Yeah,
1998.
Shit, yeah, it just adds up.
Yeah.
So you've watched You've Got Mail 70 times probably.
Something like that. Yeah, maybe more.
Mamma mia.
I know.
Okay.
But it's really good.
I agree.
I don't know what to tell you.
It's a classique.
It just gets better.
Of course.
And then Heartburn is a more recent constant rewatch, but that's like a newer one that I love to bring back into the rotation.
Heartburn.
I actually think I've seen Heartburn.
It stars Meryl Streep and Jack Nicholson.
You don't say.
And I love it.
It stars Meryl Streep and Jack Nicholson. And it's it's Nora Ephron. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Can you believe
That's fucking crazy. Those three are crazy.
But is the kitchen in the film is really ugly and poorly done, right? Or is it amazing?
They're renovating it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's like a big part of the story.
Damn, that's cool that renovation is a big part of the story. That's really,
it really is.
The minutia of life.
If you could survive a reno, you can get through anything.
And they don't.
That is unfortunate.
Okay, that's why the heart's burning. All right. Well, Haley, thank you for taking the time to chat with us today. And
thank you.
Good job and congrats on the success of your book.
Yeah, congrats.
I cannot believe I have almost finished reading it. That's a testament to you and your lisp and everything that's going on. Because usually we interview a lot of people who write a book like this, and I'm like, I just can't, but I can.
Wow.
Bravo.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be read exactly once by both of you.
That's right. One time. One time. Don't push your fucking luck, okay? One time.
No, I'm honored. I'm thrilled. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, and stay warm up there, and we'll see you soon.
Talk to you later.